Only concern is if it cooked right. My chain yellow, way the diamond set up, it make it look white. Kill you for nothing cause they petty. Murder music, murder music, murder music, murder music. Yeah, murder music.
Hello, my true crime junkies. My name is Holly, and this is the Murder She Shed, where we discuss rarely heard true crime right from my relaxing little she shed in the woods. So welcome to Suspense She Shed Sunday. Today, I did something a little different. I turned the camera around so you could get the view that I usually get when I record of my big window out back, or at least a little bit of it. And you may need that for this case today. We are going to discuss the gory true crime murder of Tammy Jo Blanton by her boyfriend, Joseph Oberhandsley. This young lady was RAP'd, murdered, dismembered, and cannibalized by the man that claimed to love her. And now he is asking for an appeal on his life sentence with no parole. Alright guys, I wasn't not going to add this onto my video, but I got a comment on the last video when I talked about COVID and how I thought I got COVID going through Glacier and how they were wearing masks now. And someone unsubscribed, left a mean comment, which I actually took off because I didn't want to look at it. And your opinions are great. I love your opinions. I probably shouldn't have taken it off. But I think everybody needs to decide for themselves their own health issues. And I have lupus. So since I have lupus, sometimes my immune system works overtime. Sometimes it don't hardly work at all. Sometimes in the evening, I can run high fever and I have to go to bed like really early because I don't feel good. Not only that, lupus has affected my heart valves. I have 3 heart valves that does not work right. Every person has to go to their doctor and let their doctor and them decide what's best for them. Every person struggles with different health issues. And I'm going to tell you, if you know anything about lupus, it's not an easy disease to have. Basically, it can attack anything in your body. Your immune system just attacks it. And it's not fun. It's a struggle. I don't think you should say anything to anybody about health issues because that's their business, honestly. If you want to unsubscribe me for that, just go ahead. But that's how I feel. I'm not here to talk about politics. Somehow that became political. And I'm just here to tell you murder shows. And I wasn't even going to tell you about my lupus because I do not discuss it to anyone, really. I just keep that to myself. But I felt like in order for you to understand why that upset me like it did, that you had to hear this. There'll be things that I say that, I'm not perfect, Lord. I'm not going to be fitting for everybody out there. Like, everybody's not going to like me. So, if you like me, then subscribe to me. If you don't, you don't. Me and Little Simon, we would love to have you as a subscriber. If you'd like to, just go ahead. And let's get the show on the road. First, before we begin, as you can tell, this may discuss graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, work your fingers to the bone by walking up to that like and subscribe button and just smash it. I can't keep doing this and not getting paid because my husband is going to kill me for putting so much money and time into this. This she shed may then literally become a murder she shed. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. He would never. I think. Yeah, he never. But anyway, let's get on with the crime. Tammy has been described by family as having the biggest smile with a heart to match. She was an extremely strong and independent woman that had caring nature and enjoyed helping others. Her boyfriend, Joseph, would take advantage of her willingness to love and help others. Tammy was not his first murder victim. Oh, no, honey. So in order to get the complete story, we will start with his history. Joseph, who was born on March 29, 1981, to parents Stephen and Brenda Oberhansley. Had a pretty normal life until in 1997 he would experience two emotional traumas within 2 months of each other. His brother, Justin, would commit suicide on June 1st of 1997, and as he is left reeling from that tragedy, in July of 1997, his father, Stephen, died in what is described as a suspicious death. Another source claims it was a suspicious overdose. Joseph blamed himself for not being there for his father. Joseph began to suffer mentally and started doing drugs to help numb the depression. And then, towards the end of 1997, he fell in love with a girl named Sabrina Elder. Their relationship would not last long, just long enough for her to become pregnant in 1998. Joseph's grandmother, Norma Dodge, felt sorry for the young pregnant woman and moved her into her own house till Sabrina could have the baby and just get back on her feet. Joseph was upset with his grandmother because he felt like the baby was not even his, and he even made comments about wanting to kill Sabrina. Then Sabrina, only 17 years old, on December 4th, 1998, gave birth to a son whom she named Joseph, after his father, that did not claim the baby as his own. Just 5 days after the birth of their baby, Sabrina's life would end. The day of the murder, on December 9th, Sabrina was at Joseph's grandmother's house, along with Joseph's mom and his younger sister, helping care for this little newborn baby. Joseph had been out smoking METH all day, and because he was trying to drown out the thoughts of it being the 1-year anniversary of his dad's death, when he entered the front door of his grandmother's house and began pacing up and down the hallway, he finally entered the living room where his mom was holding his little baby boy in her arms. She seen him, ran to the couch to lay the baby down. When she did this, he then shot her, his own mom, in the back. So Joseph's younger sister then goes and grabs the little baby and tried to run out of the house with the baby and her grandmother. While they were running, Joseph turned on Sabrina and shot her in the head 5 times, and then turned the weapon on himself, shooting himself right under the chin. This would make Joseph comatose for some time. He would also be paralyzed in part of his body. He had loss of brain tissue and damage to the frontal cortex of his brain. When the frontal cortex is damaged, it can cause you to mimic schizophrenia-like behaviors. And this did happen to him. He lived, but he had mental issues from it. His mother would live as well, and she soon forgave her son. The family didn't even want to testify against him in trial. Joseph would only serve 13 years for Sabrina's murder. During his time in prison, Joseph began hearing voices and experiencing psychotic symptoms. After his release in 2012, he moved in with his family in Indiana and was given a job at a local car dealership. But he was terminated from his employment in July of 2014 after he began acting strangely. After trying to evade police when he was observed later that day driving recklessly, Joseph told police his family was trying to kill him. When the police were talking to him, he began biting his own wrist. So they just escorted him straight to a mental facility. He told nurses at the hospital he was Zeus and he was trying to drink his own blood for strength. Yeah, I have heard some crazy things as a nurse, but That was a new one on me. While being treated, Joseph told hospital staff he was being followed by the FBI, and he wanted them to either shoot him or give him a GUN. After being discharged from the hospital, Joseph was admitted to a psychiatric unit due to his psychotic, paranoid, and grandiose behavior, and it continued to believe that he was Zeus. After treating him with an antipsychotic, they gladly released him back to the jail. He bonded out of jail, and in no time at all, he then visited another hospital. He was described as being paranoid and delusional, but yet they only treated him for insomnia. Unfortunately, in the spring of 2014, when flowers are blooming and birds and bees are having love sessions of their own, Tammy Jo met and fell in love with Joseph, and not long after, let Joseph move into her house. It started out that she had felt sorry for him, but then eventually fell for him in the process. Tammy would often talk to her friends about how unstable Joseph was. She would tell them how he thought that he was a god at times. He heard voices as well and hallucinated. On Monday, September 8, 2014, when Tammy came to work, friends said she appeared upset. She opened up to friends, telling them she had been repeatedly RAP'd by Joseph all weekend during one of his METH splurges. Instead of going home that night, Tammy stayed with one of her friends from work, and this infuriated Joseph when she did not come home that night. He was infuriated even further when Tammy ended their relationship over a text message that evening. The next morning, Joseph came to her work, but Tammy's supervisor insisted that he left. Tammy's father went to her house sometime during that day and changed the locks for her before she came home from work. Tammy left work, told all of her friends bye. They told her just to be careful. She then texted her friend Tessa that she had made it home safe and into the house safely. So she was just getting ready to go to bed when she heard a loud bang on the door. Joseph was yelling through the door that he needed to get his stuff, but Tammy refused to let him in, and she was thankful that he left shortly after that. So she went on to bed, knowing she had to get up for work the next day. So the next night, about 3 a.m. that morning, she was awoken from a deep sleep to the sound of knobs rattling. She peeped outside her window and seen Joseph pacing up and down her front porch, trying to open doors and windows. Tammy called 911, letting them know that Joseph had a mental issue and suffered from schizophrenia. An officer showed up at Tammy's house, where Joseph was still on that porch. Joseph told them that it was his house and she had changed the locks and locked him out. So the officer then decided he would send for backup. So 4 other officers quickly arrived. He continued to argue with the officers and slam his fist into his hand while yelling. Finally, after some persuasion, he agreed to leave, and officers actually watched him drive away. But the next day at Tammy's work, some of the girls were getting worried because Tammy was late for work, and that never happened. Tammy's friend Tessa called her house, and a man answered claiming he was her brother. And he said to her Tammy was at home taking care of their father. Tessa did not fall for it. She felt something wasn't right. She then called another friend named Sabrina, who phoned officers to conduct a welfare check at Tammy's house. They seen Tammy's car parked in her driveway and signs of a forced entry on the back door. Joseph answered the door and told them his name was Joe, but refused to show them any ID. He also told them Tammy was not home and he did not know where she was. The officers noticed his right hand was injured with blood on his knuckles. He was then ordered out of the house and searched. They found a bloody folding knife in his pocket with hair on it as well. Police decided to enter the home. Upon entering, they noticed blood on the walls. One of the officers even commented that there was blood everywhere. When they came close to the bathroom, they noticed the door had been kicked in. Poor Tammy had attempted to lock herself into that bathroom as a final attempt to save herself. When officers entered the bathroom, they noticed a camping tent that had been placed over the tub, but there was blood all over the bathroom and various tools on the floor. One of the officers lifted the tent, and she described it as a big bloody mound in the tub. She had been so brutally cut up she was not even recognized as a human. Tammy had large and deep gashes on her head, face, neck, and chest. The front part of Tammy's skull had been crushed and her brain had been missing. Brain tissue was found inside the trash can and bathtub. Also, a section of the removed skull was in the tub. Her chest cavity had been opened up and her heart was missing. In the kitchen, police found a plate with pieces of the skull bone and blood on it. On top of the stove was a skillet with a pair of bloody tongs inside of it. They then put Joseph in the police car to escort him to the police station for an interview. All the way to the station, Joseph stated over and over again, "The wicked will flee." This was definitely one very strange police interview. After getting him to the police station, during the interrogation, Joseph rambled that there were too many gates and he shouldn't have left the gate open. He also stated to officers that he is tingly and electrified now. He then ran it on about Tammy trying to have two black men kill him, but instead they killed Tammy while holding him hostage. He told them that Tammy and the two men were going to steal his third eye in the center of his forehead. He then said Zeus fell. The officers left the room and they could hear him making a buzzing sound inside the room. When they re-entered the room, he then admitted to prying Tammy's head open with the knife they had collected out of his pocket. "I can feel a presence in this room," he revealed to the detectives, that he ate Tammy's brain, that he tried to pull the third eye out with tongs, that Tammy had taunted him in the bathroom by saying, "Checkmate," and that the storms were attempts on him. After they left the room this time, he began to growl and hiss along with the buzzing. When they continued the interview, he explained to police that he was lying in bed with Tammy when he started tingling. "Started getting my tingling, man. The storm started coming and I caught the vision." He started hallucinating, claiming there was something in the room he did not like, and he then growled during the interview. He told the officers that it could tap in and control his mind. He said it was a spirit that was now going to give him the gift of immortality. He then stated he had kicked the bathroom door down and stabbed her 25 times. The ME stated the stabs were so deep that bones had been fractured. He then used a jigsaw to saw off the front part of her skull and also to saw her chest cavity open. He then pulled out her brain, heart, and part of her lung. After eating a bite of her raw brain, he then took the rest of the brain and the other organs to the kitchen. He then threw the organs in a skillet, cooked them, and ate them. He stated that he could hear Tammy's thoughts now that he had ate her brain. He then spent a year in a mental facility until they felt that he was competent enough to stand trial. Joseph was given life without the possibility of parole. Now his attorneys have appealed. They want a sentence of years instead of life. My thoughts on this is they are saying because he shot himself, that caused him to have that mental disorder. Then what are they using as an excuse for his first murder? If he committed murder before he had a mental disability, then why should he be given another chance to get free and basically to commit a third murder? Of course, this is only my opinion, but I believe the man deserved exactly what he got. And they are wasting money having another trial for this monster. Just my thought. You guys have an opinion on this case? Drop your comment below. Of course, as always, I value your comments and opinions. And I thank you guys for all the support. Love y'all and thanks for joining me for Suspense She Shed Sunday. Have a blessed week. Bye. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to leave right at the end some more of my bloopers. Because you know I am full of bloopers always. So if you want to stay and watch those, be my guest. He had a pretty... Let's try that. Yeah, my life. I've got these doors that do like this. And a snake was up on top. And it literally dropped on me. And wrapped around my neck. I'm not lying to you. I was doing this dance and my son looked out the back window and he was laughing so hard because he didn't know I was dancing like that. And I was trying to dance and jerk it off of me and I had the chills, you know how that goes, and literally threw that snake off of me onto the ground. At least it wasn't poisonous. Usually I run into poisonous ones, so I was glad this one around my neck was not. I don't know why I went there. Maybe I'll put this in the bloopers at the end because Lord knows I have plenty of bloopers. But Joseph's grandmother, Norma Dodge, cannot speak. When she did this, I'm drowning in snot, people. I'm drowning in snot. His own blood for strength. Yeah, he's a god. He's Zeus. After treating him with an I cannot speak. Which part of her brain was missing? Actually, I think it all was. Excuse me.